The main part of our shoot began in June of 2009, and we were here for 2 months in Chennai with lots of robotic effects, makeup effects, and a lot of physical effects involving Rajini. This was the first time we worked with Srini from Indian Artists. He's the visual effects supervisor on the project, and I'd have to say he's been so important to us on this project because so much of our work he has to work with too. We just had to work very closely with him, and he's been so great. Again, the give and take between us, the talking about it, the dialogue, the listening to each other, it's been a very easy process.
So some of the scenes that we did, we obviously had full working puppets like this, full body puppets. And we also did a lot of work directly with Rajini where we would use parts of his arm to replace with robotics. So we would hide Rajini's arm and then put a robotic arm here instead, and to get a better performance and bring out the essence of his character, the robot Chitty, using as much as Rajini as possible. That's always the best way to go, is as much as you can use the actor, because he brings the life and the performance to it.
We have the full robot puppets that don't have the skin on yet. And actually you see, two different stages of the puppet. You see this underskull skeleton stage, what we call the skeleton stage, which is very thin and has almost a skull-like face. And then he gets these plates put on, these titanium plates, and suddenly it starts to look a little more like Rajini and like muscle shapes. And then skin gets put over the top of that, and he turns into Rajini, playing the robot. So we have all the different stages of the puppets, and we all puppeteer. We all puppeteer the robot puppets that we brought, which is a difficult job. It's very difficult to have 6 different people around a puppet, and one person's moving one arm, the other person's moving the other arm, somebody's moving the head, somebody's making it speak. And we're all doing a different thing, and we all have to sync up and be together in a language we don't know. So it's been a challenge. It's been very, very difficult speaking Tamil without having any idea what we're saying, and making it all look very natural. So that's been a challenge on the show.
Activate command mode and stand up.
Command mode activated.
Action!
Walk.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up.
Yet! Munadi ba! Munadi!
Step, step, step.
Oh, shit.
I am shit.
Step, step, step.
Okay, pick up the gun. The bundle of gun! Gun! Shoot it. Hey! 8 லட்சம் லைன் ஆஃப் கோட்ஸ் உனக்கு நான் ப்ரோக்ராம் பண்ணிருக்கேன். கன் எடுன்னு சொன்னா நீ பண் எடுக்கிற. மயிரை பிடுங்க சொன்னா என்ன உயிரை பிடுங்குவியா? வசீகரன் என்னோட ஸ்டூடெண்ட் கலக்கிட்டான். அவன் பண்ண ரோபோ கான்ஃபரன்ஸ்ல ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஒவேஷன் வாங்கியிருக்கேன். இது இங்க குப்புறப்படுத்திக்கிட்டு கும்புது.
உயிரை பிடுங்க, உயிரை பிடுங்க.
கழுத்த விடுறா.
உயிரை பிடுங்க, பிடுங்க. உயிரை பிடுங்க, உயிரை பிடுங்க, உயிரை பிடுங்க, உயிரை பிடுங்க.
that kind of movement, no? Like all there is no strength. You want to try something, you know, like.
So he's trying to move, but really
Yeah.
I want to love. I love Sana. Help Paduga, Professor. I love Sana. Help Paduga, Professor. Yana paraya pati matunga. Manu payana. Yanaka Sanada.
With lots of robotic effects, makeup effects, and a lot of physical effects involving Regini. And he was great. He was one of the best actors I've ever worked with in the makeup chair. He would just sit there for an hour, 2 hours, not moving. And for most of it, it'll be just relaxed. But at some point, keep your eye closed. I'll say, lift your eyebrows. So it'll stretch the eye, but stay closed. One of the scenes, we actually had to destroy the robot. The scene that was probably the most difficult physically for Regini and for us was the scene where he was cut apart by himself as a scientist with an axe. Or the effect sequence was designed again by Bruce Fuller.
My big responsibilities on the show was to do a makeup that shows the rubber face melted away, and underneath is the robot on Regini's face with some extra skin away, and that consisted of 3 layers of makeup. There's an underskin for any of the mechanical workings that you see in when the robot splits his mouth, and that took a couple hours to put that makeup on. And as I've said, he's the most patient man I've ever worked with. He just sat back and let us do whatever we had to do, and seemed really happy with the results. We cut his arm off, we did everything, and he still had to act. You know, so he laid down on the floor, and then it's not over yet. We took a chemical mixture and put it on his face, and sprayed it with vinegar actually, and it reacted and bubbled, and that was the acid. You know, so we had the skin on up to here, and there was Silverface. He's terrific. Because it was very labor intensive. We had to set the rig. We had to put him through the floor, figure out all the camera angles and everything. And especially the scenes where he's in the shot himself. So there were times we'd shoot one part of it, and then the next day we'd shoot the next part, and then later Srini, the VFX supervisor, would comp those together to put Regini twice in the same scene. This scene involved having Regini's arms cut off, his legs cut off, and finally his head cut off with the axe.
Even though it's very different,
Very exciting scene.
top-notch and professional.
Regini will get in an accident or his face torn. He gets hit by lightning at one point, and he's smoking and burning, and his eyes are blinking and going crazy. Piece of skin ripped away, and we have to see the robot underneath.
Dave Monzingo, who was our lead fabricator and helped build a lot of the bodies.
Lightning strike body for a scene when Chitty gets struck by lightning and his skin gets singed and he gets damaged. I helped construct this. Again, it started off with a body mold of Regini so that this dummy would have the exact same proportions and look exactly like as if it were his body. And then also a life cast of his head so that all the parts of exposed skin you see are based on his real skin. We made it so it had flashing lights. Dave Covarrubias and Rich Hogan built this mechanism so that the eyes would go crazy. The lightning had caused him to malfunction and the eyes would go crazy. As well as we had tubes running through this so that when they brought him in, smoke would pump out, billow out as if the electronics had just been fried.
We had quite a few makeups in this film. That makeup was designed, sculpted, and applied by Bruce Fuller, and he did a great job.
The greatest thing about working with superstar Regine Kampf is he is so patient. He will do anything that we need him to do. We put him in a table, inside of a table, and just had his head sticking out. And then we added a fake neck onto him, and then the robot body. So it looks like the skeleton robot's laying on the table with Regini's head on it. And we put him in this table, and he was literally in the table all tight, locked into this table for hours and hours and hours. And the man, there was never one complaint. He did whatever he had to do. And that's the way he works. He's really great. He'll do anything. He's a true professional. He wants this movie to be a big success.
He's been great. This has been a difficult